Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and this is my team builder for week 3 of the UBC. We are going up against the Bristol Bulu, coached by Professor Chipboard. I'm gonna try to do this quickly because I am slated to battle with Chip in like the next 10 to 15 minutes, and he is out in Europe, so it is actually kind of late for him at the time I'm recording this. So just to help him get the battle started more quickly, let's go quickly through this analysis. Starting with his team. So he has Necrozma, Scolipede, Delmice, or however you say it, Zoroark, Milotic, Lucario, Raichu, Omastar, Skarmory, Braviary, and Mega Garchomp. So the thing that scares me most about his team is the potential setup options from like Necrozma, Scolipede, Lucario, Garchomp, and as well as Omastar with the Shell Smash possibilities. Zoroark also has potential to go for Swords Dance and Nasty Plot. So those are all really scary options for me, and so because of that, I've brought a pretty offensive team. And the Mons that are not as offensive on my team are designed in such a way that they're not really just setup fodder for the various Pokemon on his team. So we're going to start off with our Bronzong, rocking an Aqua Berry with Stealth Rock, Hidden Power Ice, Gyro Ball, and Earthquake. HP Ice for Garchomp, Gyro Ball for Scolipede, and Braviary, and just anything that's fast. And Earthquake for Lucario. Put a mixed defensive spread on here, so that way it can take sort of mixed hits from Garchomp, Lucario, things like that. You know, Crunch on Lucario or Dark Pulse on Lucario is definitely scary. But the reason I'm going with Aqua Berry instead of Colbur Berry is for the Garchomp, which is likely to pack either Fire Blast or Fire Fang for my Bronzong. And in case he does bring it with like Earth Power and Draco Meteor and stuff like that, I didn't want to go fully Fizz Def, so that's why I've gone with a good amount of Spadef here. Bronzong, yeah, Great Switch and Garchomp, Scolipede, Braviary, also just good for getting up rocks, which is always nice to do. Next up, we have a Life Orb, Entei, Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Hidden Power Ice, and Toxic. Sacred Fire puts a lot of pressure on his team. I wanted E-Speed in order to revenge things like Scolipede if they're whittled and they're not behind a sub. HP Ice is for Garchomp, and then Toxic is to hit Melodic on the switch-in. It also, you know, in a lot of scenarios, I'm going to be able to click Toxic for free with Entei because his immunities are like Scolipede and Lucario, and there's almost no chance that he's switching those Pokemon in on my Entei. We are still good with an Adamant Nature so that we can use that E-Speed, but if you put in these 80 EVs into the minus special attack, combined with a Life Orb, it's still 2 KOs a non-invested Garchomp. But yeah, this applies a lot of pressure to his team. I felt like it was really important for this to come in order to bring this in versus Skarmory. Skarmory, like, there's a good chance that it doesn't come just because I have some good ways to deal with it offensively. But, you know, I want to take advantage of it, like, you know, try and apply enough pressure so that it can't set up hazards very easily. Or if he does want to set up hazards, it's going to be at the cost of something else. Along those lines, we are rocking a Nasty Plot Thundurus with Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, and Dark Pulse. I was contemplating running this mixed with Flying EMZ to hit the, to hit the, I can't remember its name, the Delmice? That's the guy. But a +2 Dark Pulse with a boost from Expert Belt still going to do a lot. Dark Pulse is also nice for Necrozma, which wouldn't have been hit by my set that I had been otherwise planning. And we're just running Max on this because he does have a Raichu that I'd like to outspeed if possible. HP Ice is for the Garchomp, and then everything else gets hit really hard by Thunderbolt. We also have a Colbur Berry, Decidueye, Leaf Blade, Spirit Shackle, Roost, Toxic. I have this to try and take on a setup, setup Necrozma. We can Spirit Shackle it, Toxic it, and then potentially just Roost up until it dies. Like, it does have Moonlight, but we have more Moonlights than he has Roosts. And Colbur Berry is there to help take like the initial Dark Pulse a little bit better. I originally had this as a choice banded set, but I like the ability to be able to run this with Toxic. And Culpa Berry also allows me to maybe take one hit from a Zoroark. Zoroark, I think I'm most scared of Necrozma on his team, but I think Zoroark is the second scariest thing to my team. I don't really have a lot of amazing switch-ins to it. So having a little bit of backup with the Culpa Berry versus that thing is going to be really nice. And then I can also use this to trap, I guess, the Delmise if I want to, but the Delmise is going to be able to hit me with a powerful Ghost hit itself, which I'm not really that excited about. Decidueye is also nice for Melodic. Melodic's really annoying to deal with for my team. That's like a big reason Thundurus is coming. Thundurus can handle both Melodic and Skarmory. Legolas can't do a whole lot to Skarmory, but it can sort of do damage to Melodic, which is another reason that Banded would have been nice, but I think this is okay. I think, if we will Toxic it if we need to, but I'll try to avoid the whatever the thing's ability is called, Marvel Scale, where it gets the defense boost if it's statused. We put just enough speed in here to outspeed a 0-speed Necrozma with like a tiny bit of creeping. We also have a Choice Specs Greninja, Surf, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and U-Turn. This thing just hits his team really hard, and it outspeeds a lot of his team. I think it outspeeds everything. Yeah, it literally outspeeds everything. The only thing that'll end up outspeeding it is something with a Scarf or a Scolipede that has a boost. Surf and Dark Pulse just have very good neutral coverage versus his team. Ice Beam is for Garchomp, and then U-Turn is there for momentum. If I were to guess, what Pokemon he might switch into this thing, maybe like a Culpa Berry, Delmise, or something like that. Melodic. Those are really the only two things that can switch in to it, and maybe like a bulky Necrozma, Culpa Necrozma. But putting specs on this thing is nice to give myself as much power as possible against that Necrozma with my Dark Pulse. One thing I'm a little bit scared of is a potential weakness policy in Necrozma. Jonah is a good friend of mine who is in this league and helped me team build. He had brought one of those, and it was very hard to deal with. I also want to give a big shout out to Immortal Ments for helping me come up with this team. So thanks to the two of them. But yeah, that's the Greninja set. And then last but not least, we have not this investment. I don't know where the heck that came from. There we go. That looks more correct. I'll have to make sure that all of my EVs are correct when I go into this battle. But mixed defensive Poliwrath. Poliwrath is actually really solid this week, just based on its defensive typing. It's a good switch in for Omastar, really good for Omastar. It's a pretty decent switch in to both types of Lucario, both physical and special. It can do okay, probably take one hit from things like Garchomp or Scolipede. And what was the other thing? And Zoroark. Zoroark at least can't hit me with its stab moves very hard. Obviously, it does get moves like Extra Sensory, which can hit me for super effective damage. But we'll deal with that when the time comes. I've brought the standard move set of Circle Throw, Scald, Rest, and Sleep Talk. I'm running Careful Nature. I'm not super thrilled about a minus special attacking nature in combination with Scald, but I wanted to not be outsped by Skarmory if it comes down to it. And I checked, and the Scald still does break a sub from a max HP Scolipede, which is kind of threatening otherwise. So yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme is making his debut and is going to do really well, I hope. So this is the team. Yeah, it's 4 really offensive things, and then a wall that can't be set up on because it has phasing. And Benjamin is still a little vulnerable, but I have the moves to hit his most potent setup mons, like for Garchomp, Scolipede, Braviary, and Lucario here. So that's going to do it for me. We're going to be battling with Chip in the next 5 or so minutes here. So I'll end the video now. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out the battle. Make sure you check out Chip's channel. And until the next time, I will see you guys later.